Hey, what's going on, Guardians? My name is the Black Link, and this year's Festival of the Lost has proven to be a rather interesting and unique one in terms of this event throughout Destiny's history. And a large reason for that is the brand new activity that dropped with Festival, the Haunted Forest. This is, of course, the new, almost sort of dungeon diving activity where you take into a darkened version of the Infinite Forest. You've got 15 minutes on the clock and you're just trying to take out as many enemies as you can, get as far into the forest and clear as many branches as you can while you're there within that time limit. It's a really fun game mode. I've actually really enjoyed my time in here, and I think it's probably made this the best Festival of the Lost we've gotten yet. But there are definitely still some things that could make the Haunted Forest as an activity maybe a bit more permanent and even better. And that, Guardians, is going to be the focus of this video. I'm going to talk a bit about the Haunted Forest, its status as an event activity right now. As far as we know, the Haunted Forest is supposed to be going away when Festival of the Lost ends. So we're going to talk a little bit more about how it could become more of a permanent activity, what it's done right in comparison to previous Horde mode type activities within Destiny 2, and of course how the Haunted Forest could become a more engaging activity for Guardians everywhere. Let's go ahead and dive on in. Now, if you haven't played the Haunted Forest before, the concept is very simple. You load into this special version of the Infinite Forest, you can load into it from the tower, and your job is basically just to continue killing ads. It's as simple as that. You're going to kill ads as you work your way through the Infinite Forest. When you've killed enough ads to reach 100% clearance on your branch, you're going to be teleported to a midsection where you fight a boss. You take that boss out, you head back to the start, you start your next branch. You have 15 minutes to see exactly how many branches you can complete. And when your time finally runs out, you'll be able to face down a boss and then open a chest where you'll get fragmented souls, which you can use to exchange for new masks, as well as the new 600 power level 10 masterwork horror story legendary auto rifle. It's a really interesting concept, and I think it provides a pretty interesting and engaging game mode here for the Festival of the Lost. And I'm going to get into why in just a sec. We're going to take this directly from the top, and I have to talk about the matchmaking system for the Haunted Forest, in that basically I love it. I wish the Blind Well had this sort of matchmaking. I wish Escalation Protocol had this sort of matchmaking. Basically, with the Haunted Forest, you have two different matchmaking options. Basic Haunted Forest, which will matchmake you with two other Guardians, and the Firewalled Haunted Forest, which allows you to run solo or with just your own private team. This is great, and honestly should be an option for way more game modes in D2. I would love a solo non-Nightfall Strike option. And basic matchmaking for Destiny 2's other Horde modes like Escalation Protocol and Blind Well would be a fantastic and welcome addition to those modes as well. I think a lot of us Guardians would still prefer to be able to pull full 6-man fire teams into those Escalation Protocol and Blind Well activities, but having the Haunted Forest sort of separate matchmaking system would definitely be a benefit for people trying to reliably run those game modes. It's just a really simple, really great system for a game mode like this, and I could see it working for other things too. But beyond that, the entire premise of the Haunted Forest really lends itself well to a game like Destiny 2. It's fun, becomes more challenging the longer you're playing it, and it provides a unique world space and sandbox for players to play around with, in particular via the use of masks. And of course the mods that come along with them. This time around, the masks that we get in the Festival of the Lost are for more than just show. You can attach one of 3 specific mods to each mask, and the effects they grant are ridiculously powerful. These masks can make you deal more damage to enemies, heal you when you get precision kills, cause heavy ammo to drop way more generously, and some can even make you more difficult to kill in the air. For all intents and purposes, they serve as new, powerful modifiers for the player's benefit. But instead of being automatically active, they have to be earned via continuous play in the Haunted Forest. This, I believe, is one of the Haunted Forest's greatest assets. The fact that these masks grow more powerful as you continue to play, and in return make it easier for you to make your way further through the Haunted Forest, is fantastic. That's a great gameplay loop. It gives you a set goal to work towards. You want that increased heavy spawn rate? Gotta kill 6 more nightmares. And when you finally max one of those masks out, you definitely feel the effects that they're bringing to the table. It's actually kind of interesting. One of the masks gives you a basic damage buff against all enemies. That damage buff rounds out to being about 2.5 times normal damage. Do you see what that is? This is basically the old small arms modifier finally being brought back into Destiny 2 and applying to all weapons instead of just primaries. Seriously, it's a part of the Winged Terror mod, I believe. And it makes it so that you deal ridiculous amounts of damage to basically everything in the Haunted Forest. This type of activity-centric modifier system is great, and it should definitely be added to future game modes. Imagine like a new variant of Escalation Protocol, where the armor or weapon drops that you get from it have a special activity-focused perk like these masks do. And with these perks, you'll have to work for them, but they'll make you extremely powerful in that given activity. We definitely need more of that in D2. I also wouldn't mind seeing some of these mask effects altered and made into modifiers for like strikes, since the positive ones we have in the strike playlist right now, well, are a little bit more than lacking. In particular, I've been missing small arms for a long time, so it kind of blew my mind that we're getting a better version of it here with Festival of the Lost, but only in the Haunted Forest. Please, Bungie, can I just have small arms back in strikes? I miss it so very much. But anyways, you see what I mean there, right? Having these types of perks tied into armor that you get from specific game modes that make you more powerful in those game modes, I think that's a great formula moving forward for stuff like Blind Well and Escalation Protocol, or whatever that new game mode's going to be in Black Armory, Forges of the Chain I do believe it's called. If we can get more stuff like this that you have to work towards within that game mode but make you more powerful in that game mode, I think that is a great direction to be going. Definitely some rewards worth seeking. But speaking of rewards, the one really big issue with the Haunted Forest is of course its ultimate payoff. Once you've maxed out all your masks and maybe rolled enough fragmented souls to land that awesome horror story auto rifle, you kind of really have no reason to delve back into the Haunted Forest at all. Which, I guess based on its relevance to the Festival of the Lost as a timed event, isn't really surprising. After all, the event was likely not meant to last more than a few weeks. But if this game mode were to become a more permanent game mode as I would like to see it be, it would need some actual rewards to grind for. Thankfully, we kind of already have a perfect solution in place. There are already plenty of in-game weapons and armor Bungie could revamp to be rewards for a more permanent Haunted Forest activity. And of course, these come in the form of the Curse of Osiris Mercury gear. Look man, I could totally see nightmare versions of the base Brother Vance armor, as well as new, random roll equipped Year 2 versions of the Prophecy weapons from the Forge in the Lighthouse. Many of those weapons were extremely unique and would make for a great loot pool for players to grind towards while running through the Haunted Forest. I could absolutely see myself trying to grind towards that new nightmare version of the West of Sunfall with the perfect perk sitting on it. That would be a great way to keep the Haunted Forest relevant as an activity far beyond the Festival of the Lost. And it's definitely something that we know is possible within the game engine for D2. I mean, shoot, the horror story, the event auto rifle is a retextured origin story. We just had a bunch of other heavy weapons brought forward into the Year 2 loot pool so that you wouldn't be getting so many edge transits from your engrams. It's definitely possible for them to take some of these Year 1 weapons that were really good weapons in and of their own right, but have kind of been left behind within the shuffle between Year 1 and Year 2. And having those Prophecy weapons back I think would be a great reward system that they could just slide into place here with the Haunted Forest. Which again, if this activity were ever to become something more permanent, it would definitely need a revamp to its reward system, because right now there's really no reason to run it outside of leveling up masks and getting your fragmented souls. So I just figured that'd be a good way to incentivize players to continue playing in the forest. But alright Guardians, that's pretty much my thoughts about the Haunted Forest. I really like this game mode. I think it's introduced a few new things that we could really see more of in some other game modes within Destiny 2. And I would love to see the Haunted Forest as an activity persist beyond the Festival of the Lost. Or at the very least, take some of the core elements of it and implement them into stuff like Blind Well, or Escalation Protocol, or again, the Forges of the Chain, whatever that activity is going to be when Black Armory rolls around in December. But alright Guardians, those are my thoughts on the Haunted Forest. What are yours? Do you like this activity? Have you finished it, gotten everything you needed, and never want to set foot into it again? Be sure to let me know how you Guardians feel about this down in the comment section below. What could they do to make some other activities like Blind Well and Escalation Protocol a little bit more fun in the game? Be sure to leave me your thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like, make sure you subscribe, and hit that notification bell for all the latest stuff we're putting out. But alright Guardians, that is going to be it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. And as always, I am the Black Link. You Guardians, stay frosty.